What? That's right. All right, here we are at a different location today for our video. Our all-out match prediction. We're in the South, recording this video, and more specifically, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And it's all out. Our all-out match prediction, which takes place tonight in Chicago.
Yep.
And it's a big card.
Oh yeah, very big card. I was just about to say something, I forgot. But yeah, the card, like just last week or the week before, really wasn't all that great. Like there was like maybe 9 matches announced, but none of them really caught our eye. Since then, they've added some matches. They've added some interesting matches.
That's right.
Since then, and like you said, it kind of went from a pay-per-view that looked underwhelming to still a good pay-per-view. Although I'd say doesn't look as good on paper as Double or Nothing or Revolution of this year, but still looks good.
I agree with that.
It still looks good.
I absolutely agree. I almost feel like it's been a roller coaster, and not in a good way, because it's like a couple weeks ago they had hardly nothing announced. They announced the Eddie Kingston match with Sammy Guevara, which they got rid of, and we didn't even have a world title match till this past Wednesday. But anyway, we're going to do our best to do our match prediction for All Out tonight. And if you notice, Brady, he opted out of this one after 2 match predictions in a row. He said, let's just hold off on this one. So I've got the matches here in my pocket. And what we will do is we'll give the matches, Slim Jim Record. I will announce the matches. We'll make our predictions for All Out 2022. And we'll start at the bottom. Now, there's 11 main card matches, at least as of this recording. And then there's also some of the 0 hour, which is like the buy-in. We're not going to do those because it's just way too many matches to announce. So let's begin here. Let's get the card here. Sorry, I should have this ready.
All the matches on the 0 hour are just...
They're Rampage-style matches. Which I did hear. Rampage, Tony Khan said he's going to turn it up and actually get good matches again.
That's good. That's good because
meaningful matches.
Rampage has been very, very underwhelming.
So,
for sure. Every week.
We'll start at the bottom of the card here. Like I said, there's 3 pre-show matches, including an All-Atlantic Championship Pac and Kip Sabian. There's a Triple A World Mixed Tag Team Championship match. There's also an FTW Championship with Hook and Angelo Parker. We're not going to do those. We'll skip those. Moving on to the main card, House of Black taking on Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro. What do you start us?
Well, first off, not a bad match. Miro's a good wrestler. Sting, Darby Allin, and all the House of Black, good wrestlers, good characters. But honestly, this is a match. They've been setting up the storyline for a while. It's a match I wish could have happened on a Dynamite.
Okay.
Maybe a good Dynamite main event, or just somewhere on Dynamite, because Darby Allin needs to be in a singles match.
Okay, agree.
And because Darby Allin, for at the last pay-per-view, he was in a singles match against Kyle O'Reilly, not the biggest opponent, but lost.
Okay.
And then before that, he was in a tag team match, and sometimes he fights with Sting in tag team matches, but what we needed to see was Darby Allin, in the Casino Ladder match, which is also happening, to get him into a World Championship match, because he has been in AEW for a long time, and last year he just had a really big high moment of his career. Okay. And then just as this year's been going on, his career's just been going way down.
Okay.
But not a bad match. But who's gonna win? I'm gonna say the faces in the match. I'm gonna say Miro, Sting, Darby Allin are gonna win. Before I wouldn't have said that, even though now it's kind of a hard one to pick. But the House of Black's only loss was to the Dark Order, which was on Rampage a couple weeks ago because of a distraction. Yeah. So maybe the House of Black would win, but I'm gonna say the faces for this one.
All right, I'm gonna go faces as well. Malachi Black, his name has been all over the wrestling news for all the wrong reasons. He's wanting out of his contract. He's asked to get out of his contract. At least that's the rumor. As of right now, he has not been granted that. I'm going to go faces, even though I could see like maybe them maybe trying to throw Malachi a bone and kind of just say, hey, we're going to let you win this one and kind of make up for him wanting to leave. But Miro, Darby, Malachi should all have bigger matches at this event, and they don't.
What I would like to see is Malachi Black versus Darby Allin.
Yeah.
One-on-one. That would have been a lot better.
And AEW is the master of, trios matches. If we don't have nothing to do with it, let's put them in a trios match. But I go faces winning this time, I think.
Me too.
And I'm not sure what's going to happen with the House of Black. Especially if Malachi was able to lose and go back to WWE. Speaking of another trios match that was actually thrown together, you got the TNT champion Wardlow teaming up with the tag team champions of multiple companies, FTR.
Multiple companies, but not AEW.
But not AEW. Taking on Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm going to go first in this one. This is crazy because you got Wardlow, who they pushed all summer. Gave that TNT title to. They
pushed him all year.
Since
he won the Face of the Revolution match.
That's true. Then pushed him all year. They gave him that belt and then said, okay, you're not going to do anything now, because literally that's what he's done. He's been the champion. He's had a couple defenses, but nothing meaningful.
No meaningful defenses.
FTR have been by far the hottest tag team in wrestling the last year, winning every belt. These guys should be fighting the Young Bucks for the championships.
The Young Bucks aren't champions.
I know, but they still should be. And this match should be happening because that's the two best tag teams probably in wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And FTR had won everything. I don't understand. It's perfectly set up for that. But anyway, that didn't happen. And then you've got Jay Lethal, who is great, and who AEW has not done well with since he come there.
But are they starting to?
Maybe
just a little bit.
But teaming up the Motor City Machine Guns, a team that I absolutely loved 15 years ago. It's a step up from Sanjay Dutt and the Big Lurch Giant Gonzalez character. I'm glad it's not that. But where did the Motor City Machine Guns? They're not even an AEW tag team. It's just confusing to me. It's just a whole mess. If you look at this match, there's so many bad things about it. Why is TNT Championship not on the line? Why is Wardlow in a six-man tag? Why aren't the FTR fighting for the belts? Why isn't Jay Lethal doing anything more? And why in the world are the Motor City Machine Guns there? Have they signed? Who knows? I'm going to go faces winning this. There's no way the other guys win this.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to bury those three.
It's not terrible. It's not a terrible match. It would have been a lot worse, like you said, if Sanjay Dutt or whatever the other guy's name is, the big tall guy was in it.
I don't know.
The Great Khali.
Satnam Singh.
Satnam Singh. But the bad thing about this match, the worst thing about this match, is that Wardlow, like you said, Wardlow and FTR should not be in this match. At least not Wardlow. Wardlow needs to be defending his title.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why he hasn't, but
we will move on.
Yeah,
because we can talk about.
I'm going to say.
Oh yeah, sorry.
This is easy. Wardlow and FTR.
Yeah, I think the easiest match to predict, probably of the night.
It might be one of my least favorite matches of the night.
Moving on, you've got a team that has broken up. You got Powerhouse Hobbs taking on Ricky Starks. They were never really that successful together in the first place.
They weren't.
I'm glad Team Taz is over. They knew that they've kind of run its course. I like Ricky Starks. I think if I were to make a list of 5 or 6 AEW guys that would really like to go to WWE because I think they would do well, we could go on who those would be, but I would put Ricky Starks on the list. I think he's a star. People compare him to The Rock, like a young Rock, and I like that. I think he's good. I think he wins this. Oh, it's your turn to go first.
Me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We jumped in order, but
these two, neither one of them are really my favorite. Ricky Starks isn't too bad. Okay. I don't really like Powerhouse Hobbs. He's just another not like the giant wrestler, but like the next step down, which is like the big. Not just like a muscular wrestler like Roman Reigns or Hulk Hogan, but like a big, like a Big E or like a who's another
like example?
Like a Wardlow,
or someone like a big muscle kind of jock, jughead,
Braun Breaker
type. Yeah, I understand. Go ahead.
So he's not my favorite, but Ricky Starks isn't too bad. I'm gonna say Starks wins.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, like I started to say, Ricky Starks wins this.
And he'll probably get ready to have a bigger singles push.
Hobbs isn't the worst. He's not as good as Big E.
No.
And he's not as good as like Wardlow. Probably even Braun Breaker. But maybe it's just because they haven't done anything with him.
And his name is worse than Braun
Powerhouse
Breaker.
Hobbs.
Why is his first name Powerhouse?
Yeah. Anyway, I think Starks wins this. The next is the Casino Ladder match. We always love these kind of matches. The Casino Ladder match, the Casino Battle Royals.
Then they had a Face of the Revolution ladder match.
That's right.
This year.
And the winner gets the world title shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got Claudio Castagnoli, or AKA Cesaro, who's the ROH World Champion. Penta El Zero, Rey Fenix, Andrade, Rush, Wheeler Yuta, Dante Martin, and the Joker.
How many people is that?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. I didn't know
That's
that
about what they
Phoenix
usually
was in it, but evidently he is, at least according to this.
It is. I felt like out of all the people in this matchup, it's kind of underwhelming. Like the people in this match, because the casino ladder match is not like a match like the Face of the Revolution match. It's not like a match for the younger stars like Keith Lee, who really didn't have that. He just come to didn't have that much. I'm starting to lose my train of thought a little bit. But
go ahead.
Keith Lee was in WWE, became Bearcat Lee when he moved to the main roster.
Yeah.
Was never a big star in there, so it was kind of just like bringing it. So they kind of put him in the match, and they kind of. It was supposed to really be for like newer up and coming wrestlers.
Sure.
People who they're going to push in the future, just to give them like a bigger push.
Yeah.
And win the match, like what happened with Wardlow. But then once they got towards the end, they added Orange Cassidy. And Christian, who, Orange Cassidy is still a younger star. Christian's definitely not. He's already been multi-time world champion. Definitely not a face of the Revolution or the next generation. But this match is just like, the people in the match makes me think of like a face of the Revolution, not a number one contendership for the world championship. Because if you remember last year, Hangman Adam Page was in it. Lance Archer, who,
Yeah.
But Jon Moxley was in it. Pac was in it. Bigger names, and this match just kind of lacks that.
Okay.
And honestly, the only person who should win this match is Andrade.
Yeah.
Andrade needs to win the match. He's already unhappy with what's been happening with him in AEW, and really his push has not been that great. Earlier this year, he fought for the TNT title a few times.
Yeah.
He fought in a coffin match with Darby Allin, but other than that, he really hasn't done too much. He needs to win this. He's not going to be world champion. Maybe in the future in AEW, but he's not going to be if he were to move on. I'm going to say he wins. I really hope so. Nobody else is really on a world title level, and that's what I'm disappointed about.
Any Joker predictions? Who's going to be the Joker?
Oh yeah, never mind. I'm going to say whoever the Joker is going to win.
All right. Any idea who you think it might be?
I almost forgot about the Joker spot. I'm going to say that the Joker could be MJF. It's possible.
It's almost too obvious that it would be that.
Yeah. Who else is it going to be?
I don't know.
Somebody returning?
Could be. I heard it could be Morrissey. But he was just there. Why would they spoil that return or that debut kind of, even though he's there one time before, and not save it to the pay-per-view? So I don't think it's going to be him. I hope Andrade wins. Like you said, Andrade is the only one who deserves this shot because it is for a world title. Or possibly Cesaro or Claudio. But he's the champion in ROH, so that doesn't make sense. Yuta, Martin, they're not there. Rush is not there. They're not at that level. And I don't think Phoenix or Penta, it's just not for them to win this. So it's going to be the Joker or Andrade. I go with Andrade. I'm going to go with Andrade. But it's hard to go against the Joker because you don't know who that is, and it's going to be a surprise.
I'm still sticking with the Joker.
Could be Samoa Joe. I've heard that. But is that really like a surprise? He was just there a couple months ago. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I have no official prediction of who that Joker's going to be. But I say Andrade wins because I want him to, and I think he deserves it.
That would be my second pick.
We got to continue on because this is a huge card. Christian Cage taking on Jungle Boy. Probably one of the best builds of the entire pay-per-view.
Yeah, they've been building this match since June.
What happens? Is it my turn to go?
You go.
It's my turn. I go Christian Cage because this is what I think is going to happen. I think this feud is going to continue, and I think Luchasaurus will officially turn on Jungle Boy.
I can see that.
That's my prediction. They kind of tease that. when he aligned with Christian, and then he came back and he kind of realigned with Jungle Boy. I go Christian Cage winning it, and this feud continuing. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm actually going to go the opposite.
Okay.
I'm going to say Jungle Boy. I can see what you're saying about the feud continuing on, or maybe Luchasaurus coming into the match and attacking Jungle Boy, then Christian getting the win. But I think it's going to be Jungle Boy. I just feel like
I hope it is.
Maybe they do. Maybe they are going to continue this on. I could see that. But
now Jungle Boy could win the match, and then Luchasaurus turn on him afterwards. I just think Luchasaurus will officially turn. They kept the scary music. They kept the black mask. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm going to say Jungle Boy wins. And Jungle Boy is another example of a person like Ricky Starks, who is like a star that they're building, and he's been being built as a tag team wrestler.
Yeah.
Now I feel like they're going to, if Luchasaurus attacked him, turned on him, joined up with Christian, that's where I could really see his singles career start taking off.
Okay.
And because he was already one of the 4 pillars of AEW that MJF kind of created, and every other one of these 4 pillars, Sammy Guevara had a huge run earlier this year, and at the end of last year, Darby Allin did last year, not so much this year. They really need to be doing better with him and Sammy Guevara both.
Yeah,
I'd say, and MJF, up until the time he left, he was huge. Pretty much his whole AEW career, he was a big star. And now Jungle Boy, who has been a big tag team wrestler over the past year, now it's his turn to be put into more a singles run. So I'm going to say Jungle Boy wins.
All right, on to the next match. Bryan Danielson taking on Chris Jericho, 2 of the biggest stars the last 20 years by far.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be... This is your turn to go first.
This is kind of a harder one to predict.
It is. I'll go first. Danielson wins. Danielson wins, I think, because I don't think Garcia picks which side. I don't think he's going to go back with Jungle Boy and it be 100% Daniel Garcia.
Jungle Boy.
And what did I say Jungle Boy for?
I don't know.
Jericho. I don't see him going back with these guys, but I don't see him officially becoming part of the Combat Club. I don't, at least not yet. But I go with Danielson, and I really don't have any more to add to that match.
I really don't know what to say. My mind's kind of blank. I feel like it could really go either way, and it might just depend on what they do with this Daniel Garcia storyline.
Eventually, I think Daniel Garcia will be face, and I think he could even join the Combat Club. I don't think he does yet. I don't think this is solved. Who's going to win this match? We still have 4 or 5 more matches. This is a little too big of a card.
Well, one thing about it, this is a very good match.
You want to come back to it? We don't ever do that.
Sure.
We'll come back to that.
But what I want to say about this match is it is a very good match. 2 big names, like you said.
Yeah.
And we kind of saw them teasing it just a little bit. We were hoping it would happen, and then they did announce it. So I'm glad this match made it onto the card.
And I like what they've done with Daniel Garcia, because he was somebody that didn't really care about. And he had a good match with... He got the win. And then, it's kind of interesting. They're doing a good job. These are younger guys. I like what they've done here. Now, we're going to move on to a match that well, you can come back to that one, because you're still stirring it up in your mind.
I'm thinking about it.
AEW Tag Team title match. It's kind of uneventful. We wanted the Young Bucks versus FTR. We talked about it earlier. But you got Swerve in Our Glory, which, I'll be honest with you, I like.
Yeah.
I like Swerve. I like Keith Lee.
They're both great wrestlers.
Both of them great. Taking on the Acclaimed. And it's my turn to go.
You go.
Acclaimed win the belts. I am not a fan of the Acclaimed, but a lot of people are.
Yeah,
I heard the T-shirt sales are really good, and I think they're gonna capitalize on their success right now. I don't think Keith Lee and Swerve are ever going to be a long-term tag team. I go new champs tonight. It's my bold prediction.
I was really thinking about this towards the beginning of this video about who was going to win this matchup, because at first I would have said Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
I never thought we're going to beat the Young Bucks
Yeah.
for the tag team titles, but they did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good. It brings Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland on TV more.
Yeah.
But it really didn't do that for them.
Okay.
Like, who did they really defend their belts against? They fought Private Party on Rampage. They fought Tony Nese and some other guy. They really haven't had any big title defenses.
That's
and
right.
then the Acclaimed, who I also don't like. People do really like the Acclaimed. Like you said, they're a pretty popular tag team. Didn't you read somewhere that they're like
Yeah,
AEW's
just
most
saying.
popular tag team?
Yeah, that's what people say. And they also, some of their T-shirt sales have been really high.
Yeah.
So,
Which it's pretty crazy. But they do always get a good cheer, and people like them.
yeah.
But as I started thinking about that earlier today, I was thinking the Acclaimed, I feel like at this point in their career, they really don't deserve to be champions. They really need to be in more matches and maybe have a bigger push. But like you said, people do like the Acclaimed, and AEW does a good job of like giving the people what they want in a matchup. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say new champs, the Acclaimed.
Okay.
Because I
TBS.
just feel like Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland aren't really an official tag team.
Yeah.
Swerve and Our Glory, and people are going to be really behind the Acclaimed. I just feel like they're not going to put it back on them. I think they are going to give it to the Acclaimed.
TBS Championship. Jade Cargill taking on Athena. Make it quick.
This is easy.
Cargill keeps the belt. I don't see her losing anytime soon. Ember Moon's had success outside of AEW. When she was Ember Moon, now Athena, she does not win.
No.
There's also the interim women's tag team match because Thunder Rosa's injured. I hate this. I hated the interim thing
Me
before,
too.
and I hate it even more now. Britt Baker, Sheeta, Toni Storm, and Jamie Hayter.
I'm going to say Toni Storm.
That's what I think so too. Even though I've heard maybe Hayter.
Yeah.
But Toni Storm would deserve it. And Britt Baker doesn't need to be interim champion or anything. She's the best in all elite wrestling anyway, as far as girls are concerned. She needs to be the world champion. But she had a long reign. But I go with Toni Storm as well.
Yeah, we've said this before. We don't like interim. The first time, Cody was gone for like a month.
Yeah.
So they decided to just have a temporary champion while he was gone. Put it on Sammy Guevara. They really didn't need to do that. I'm glad that they had a ladder match.
Yeah.
Which we were there
We
live
were in
to see,
Cleveland. That's right.
for the championship. But I sort of understand it because it's a month. They really didn't have to do it but now they did it for the World Championship, and Jon Moxley was not gone for a month. It was more like it's about 2 months. And then they had a unification match for that. Jon Moxley lost. We'll get to that later. I mean, CM Punk lost. We'll get to that later. But once they had the interim world championship, I was thinking maybe for a TNT title, but they never need to have an interim world champion. And they just got done with all the interim stuff with the world title. Now they're going to have an interim women's championship, and it's just getting old. I just don't like it. But yeah, I'm going to say Toni Storm wins. If it would have been Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm, I would not have predicted Toni Storm to win. But because it is an interim title, I can see Toni Storm winning. She's my prediction.
All right. We got to hurry because we're running out of time.
All right.
Have you decided on the Danielson Jericho? He hasn't.
I'm going to say Jericho.
You're going to go see Jericho. Okay, that's surprising. All right, moving on. We got the crowning of the new AEW.
Well, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to say Danielson.
All right, we'll check on you in a second. AEW World Trios Championships, the Elite, which you know is the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, taking on Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order, which totally changes it because this is what I thought from the beginning. Hangman should have been in this match. But the Bucks and Omega, how can they lose?
They can't. After Omega's been gone for so long, they have this big return. They're not going to lose.
I also heard Hangman wants out of his contract.
Really?
That's hard to believe. He'd be awesome in WWE.
Especially after the fame he achieved, the World Championship, everything he's done in AEW. It would just be, especially when it's somebody who's like a top star on the other show. Whenever they jump over it, it just makes it so much better. Like Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. So we got down to the final match. We both said that the Bucks and Omega, the main event. No matter how we got there, which was a very, very, very rough road.
Yeah.
You got it was going to be interim champ versus official champ. Now it's official champ Jon Moxley taking on the challenger CM Punk. You go first on this one because I think last time it was your turn and I went.
Well, at first they had already announced this match a couple weeks ago. Until later that night, they announced it's going to be the following week on Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that, I was like, that's so dumb. Why in the world would they do that? And,
Yeah.
And we just started thinking about it. We said there must be a reason. And then we started hearing about everything happening backstage with CM Punk getting into some real life arguments with Hangman Adam Page, threatening to leave AEW, and that he was going to be fighting this match on Dynamite because they weren't sure if he was even going to be here until All Out. Well, he is going to be here now. He is booked for the card. They had the unification match. He lost in a squash match, which part of me was kind of happy to see because CM Punk, if the backstage stuff is true, he's kind of getting
He's a
what he
whiner, and
deserves.
he's always been a whiner. I can't stand him. He's okay.
It was huge when he came back,
Yeah.
and I started being a fan of him after that. And I'd seen him some before.
Bret Hart 2.0. Sorry.
Yeah, and Bret Hart was a little bit of a whiner too, even though he's a good wrestler. CM Punk's a good wrestler, but
Yeah.
I'm kind of just tired of him. I don't want. They're gonna give Punk a longer title reign probably, maybe even to the end of the year. I don't see him losing it in like a month or 2 months, which stinks because Darby Allin needed to be champion. He should have been. I kind of wish he would have been the one fighting for the title at Double or Nothing. Or, if they want to give CM Punk a championship reign because he made his big return, I can see that. A shorter reign, maybe a transitional reign, 2, 3, 4 months maybe. But then he got injured. Hopefully that was what was the plan before. But he got injured. And now he's back and he lost in like a squash to Jon Moxley. And because all this stuff going on backstage, and I just don't like CM Punk anymore. And I really didn't want to see him in this match.
So who's your prediction?
But I'm going to say Punk wins because I guess he kind of had that squash because they wanted to make this even bigger. Because he said he wasn't going to fight because of his injury. They're trying to make this look really big, like he's fighting like right through his injury to win this matchup. It's going to be a longer match. It's not going to be short like the other one. I wish Jon Moxley would win and just transition it to somebody else, but it's going to be Punk, sadly. CM Punk is my pick.
Well, everything he said, when I saw that he got squashed, I thought either Punk is really gone, he's literally causing some real trouble.
He's going to leave.
And he's leaving. Or they had a good reason that I didn't know what that reason was. And they did have a reason. Exactly what you said. They brought out his trainer, and they want to make him like he's the true underdog or whatever. It's not a good reason. It was just a reason. I hope Punk loses, but he's not going to. He wins here. He's a clear champion. He'll finally we'll get the reign out of the AEW system, and we can move on to something else.
I wish.
Big question is will MJF be there tonight?
I wish MJF would come out, and then CM Punk would lose at Grand Slam, which is.
Yeah,
it's gonna be it's this later this month, right?
Yeah, it is.
I like to see that.
It's gonna be interesting. Watch AEW All Out. We will not be watching it. We never watch them live because of money. It's not on Peacock.
And the main event's huge. They got some other big matches.
A lot of good matches. It could be a really good card.
That's true.
It's gonna be. I hope we're surprised.
Yep.
And who will show up? Maybe some debuts. I heard Tony Khan is saying we got a lot of people getting ready to debut.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Is there any rumors of who it could be?
Not really.
I have no clue. Because
they're running out of people. It seems like they've all debuted or all going back home to WWE. Enjoy the show.
Yep.
All Out.
Thanks for watching.
Yep.